We're planning to try and use the Google Cloud Vision API for some image recognition. So when people upload photos, we'll be able to say sort of the various themes that are contained within the image. So it's the Google Cloud API will give us loads and loads of tags that it thinks are in the image with different confidences. So they'll range from, if you've got a picture that's got a water bottle in it, it might be very, very sure that that's a water bottle. So that'll be 98% certainty, maybe. Whereas it will guess, not guess, but you know, there'll be things that it's less certain of, but it will still suggest them. So you might get things down in the like 10% mark that are like, no, that might be a book. It might not be a book, but yeah, and as a human, it's very, very easy to look and go, that's a book, that's a camera, that's a TV, and know that that's definitely what that is. But with machine learning, it's just not that, it can't put things into that context. So what it will do is it will suggest all kinds of things, and the confidences will allow us to tell how certain it is of any one thing. And so rather than just taking these maybe 2,500 tags and going, cool, they're all the things in the image, what we'll do is we'll probably filter out anything under a certain confidence level, so that we know that the ones that we're choosing are the most relevant, most likely things. So it'll probably be, we need to play around with it and see what it gives us and how valuable it is, but it will probably be around the kind of 90-95% mark certainty, so that then we can say these are really definitely what it is. The thing that's going to be interesting is that those tags can be all kinds of different things. They could be locations, they could be landmarks, they could be emotions, they can be kind of descriptions of stuff as well as objects. So you might have sunny might be a tag, which is a very different kind of tag to that's the Eiffel Tower or these people are happy. Like, they're all very different in terms of context. And what's going to be interesting is what these kinds of computer vision APIs and algorithms do really well is say what is in an image. What they struggle with a bit more is saying how relevant those things are to the context of the image. So you might be incredibly certain that there's a water bottle, so that will rank very highly, and less certain that the people are happy. But what matters more is whether those people are happy or not to a human. So it's kind of a UX problem in that what people care about isn't necessarily what an algorithm will give them as certainty. So we're going to have to play around and see what we can do with making the most of those labels. We don't want madness. It's this kind of, you don't want something to say, we know that there's loads of cups in this picture, so we're always going to point to those cups, because that's not as important as what people are doing with the cups, or how happy they are, or what the weather is, those kinds of things. So we're going to have to see what we can do with making the most of that and getting some value out of it. I think probably we'll see what we get in a first round and then adapt from there. But one of the things that we've talked about that we could do is kind of almost bell curve it. Not like a skewed bell curve, so what we can say is anything over, completely guessing on numbers here, but anything over like the 98th percentile certainty is probably stuff that comes up all the time. If tags come up too frequently, we can basically drop them, because they're going to be things like people. I mean, that's irrelevant to a person. You don't want pictures with people as a tag. Like, it's more interesting, the kind of more unique but frequently used words, like it, and those are the ones that will really play into like a certain context and a certain group having their own niche, you know. Like, it might be that, say, like surfboards maybe don't come up very often, but in your group they come up all the time, and that's exactly what you want to play into. Is you want like those kinds of words that are a bit different, but that really summarize what you're doing as a group. And hopefully what we can do is, if we discard the most highly occurring tags, and we discard everything that's not very certain, we'll be left with this block of things that we can then start comparing and say, if more than 10-15 images have that same tag associated, then that's when we group them and bundle, and that will give us a kind of more like group oriented look at what they care about, I guess.
That's the sweet spot.
Yeah, that's what we want.
Nice.